Mr. Wizard Explains the Universe will not be seen at this time. In its place, we bring you a program no one can understand.
Kids TV was not scared to be totally crazy when a comedy show could show public executions, lockers blowing up, and a janitor who looked like he worked as a crypt keeper at night, and somehow it was still made for kids. That was You Can't Do That on Television, the wild Canadian show that made slime a badge of honor, turned "I don't know" into a magic phrase, and by accident created all of Nickelodeon's identity. This was the starting point for everything messy, sarcastic, and proudly inappropriate. Today, we are counting down 10 strange and really gross facts about the show that broke every rule and made kids all over America nervously look up at the ceiling. Trust us, number 1 might make you rethink everything you have ever put inside a cafeteria bucket. So, tap that like button, subscribe for more retro TV deep dives, and keep your raincoat nearby because when slime shows up, no one is safe.
Number 1, it did not even begin on Nickelodeon. Before You Can't Do That on Television became Nickelodeon's slime-throwing powerhouse, it was just a small, rough sketch show shown on CJHV in Ottawa. That's right, this famous series that basically created Nickelodeon's whole style did not even start on Nickelodeon. The year was 1979. Disco was fading out, thank God. Atari was on top, thank God. And somewhere between hockey clips and very polite weather reports, Canada quietly released the strangest kids show in TV history, thank God. Roger Price and Jeffrey Derby made You Can't Do That on Television using real kids, goofy jokes, and enough craziness to make parents double-check the TV guide.
Hi, this is a totally new kind of television program. It's made for ordinary Canadian kids by ordinary Canadian kids. We're all new to television, so we're still trying to find our way around the studio.
Enter Nickelodeon in 1981, a young network so desperate for shows that they probably would have shown a moose playing hockey if kids liked it. The executives came across this strange little Canadian show and thought, let's see if American kids understand it. They showed some edited episodes in 1982 to test how it would do. Spoiler alert, it became the most watched show on the channel. Nickelodeon basically said, forget learning shows. This is it. This is who we are. Within months, the network that had been playing it safe was suddenly all about breaking rules, making fun of adults, and covering everyone in green slime. So while You Can't Do That on Television is remembered as classic Nickelodeon, it started in a Canadian studio with secondhand costumes and zero plans to go worldwide. It crossed the border, took over cable TV, and accidentally taught a whole generation that saying, I don't know, was pretty much asking for trouble.
Number 2, Christine Moose McGlade was cast by accident. Most casting agents spend months looking for the perfect lead. Tryouts, second tryouts, seeing how actors work together. Serious speeches about wanting the role more than anything. Or you can just accidentally choose the girl who was not even trying out.
And my phone number is 824-7922. I'm not really prepared, I don't know what to talk about,
So Christine McGlade, also known as Moose, walked into the You Can't Do That on Television audition room for one reason, to support her friend. Her friend was the one trying out, and Christine was there to give supportive nods and maybe share a milkshake later. Classic wingwoman job. What she did not expect was Roger Price looking right at her and saying, you either audition or leave. Christine decided to audition and by accident got the main role that would define Canadian kids television.
I don't know.
She was not polished or trained, and she was definitely not practicing her I'd like to thank the Academy speech in the mirror. And that is exactly why she was perfect. Moose became the main stand-in for the audience, sarcastic, aware of herself, and totally unbothered by getting covered in strange stuff every day. She was the kind of kid who could take a bucket of slime to the face, stop to wipe her eyes, and say the perfect comeback without missing a moment. Roger Price later said Moose was basically the human anchor, keeping the whole crazy cast from floating away into total nonsense. 7 seasons from one accidental audition, and Christine McGlade became one of the most recognizable faces on 80s kids TV, all because she was a good friend who could not say no to Roger Price. So, what happened to Moose after the slime was gone? Well, she did what any sensible former child star would do.
earned a master's degree, became a digital media executive at TV Ontario, and now runs her own strategy company while teaching at OCAD University. Oh, and she is raising 3 kids, including twins, which probably involves more chaos than being slimed ever did. The lesson? Sometimes the best performances come from people who are not trying to perform at all. Also, never underestimate the power of being volunteered.
Number 3. They did not want actors, just regular kids. While most child stars in the 80s were busy memorizing Shakespeare between cereal commercials, the kids on You Can't Do That on Television were still trying to figure out how school lockers worked. And that is exactly what the producers wanted. Roger Price and Jeffrey Darby had one casting rule: no child actors. Not the polished pageant kids with Hollywood smiles and headshots. Not the ones with agents, resumes, and demo tapes. They wanted real, awkward, unpredictable kids who still argued about who got the front seat on the ride to the set. Filming was planned around real school hours, after classes, and on weekends. No on-set tutors, no fancy trailers, and absolutely no actor attitude. These were normal Ottawa kids balancing homework and slime buckets, riding their bikes to the studio like it was just another after-school activity.
There's no doubt in my mind after reading this book that women are far more courageous than boys.
I'm telling you, Christine, there should be more men that are more courageous than girls.
Hey,
No
you kids.
way.
Hey! Your dentist is on the line. He can only take one of you, so you better decide which one gets the appointment.
Oh, you go ahead. I'm only partway through the book.
No, Christine, you're a courageous girl. No, you're a courageous woman.
You know, but Alistair, listen, I really want to read the
According to Darby, once they started acting like trained pros, the magic was gone. And that idea really worked. That raw, totally unfiltered energy became the show's secret weapon. Jokes hit harder when they were said by a kid who still had algebra homework in their backpack. Would you like a date with a really good-looking French-Canadian guy? Slime was funnier when it landed on someone who truly did not see it coming. It is a miracle no one tried to start a union. But because of that intentionally low-key style, You Can't Do That on Television avoided the usual child star disaster path. No spoiled divas, no tabloid breakdowns, just a changing cast of normal kids who accidentally made TV history in between geometry tests. Number 4. The opening credits were a total Terry Gilliam copy. If the opening of You Can't Do That on Television made you feel déjà vu, you were not imagining it. Those conveyor belts, falling heads, and jumpy cutout animations, that was Terry Gilliam's Monty Python style, taken, changed a bit, and covered in green slime. Jeffrey Darby, the show's executive producer, later admitted it, saying, "Yeah, we copied it a lot." And honestly, that's fair. Monty Python's Flying Circus was the visual chaos blueprint of the late 70s. Paper cutouts breaking the rules of physics, weird scene changes, things exploding everywhere. It was like giving a toddler unlimited craft supplies and strange mushrooms, then asking them to animate a comedy show. So when You Can't Do That on Television was being made in Canada, the creators thought, why not steal some of that Gilliam-style craziness for kids? Kids love chaos. The result was conveyor belts of cut-off heads, hammers smashing skulls, random meat factories, because nothing says nice children's program like animated factory disasters. But here's the thing, it worked. It did not feel like a cheap copy. It felt like Python's crazy little cousin who had only eaten sugary cereal on Saturday morning cartoons. The animation perfectly showed the show's style. Unpredictable, a little bit wild, and completely into the joke. So yes, the intro was visual copying, but it was copying with a purpose. Setting the perfect mood for a show where having your head metaphorically smashed by a giant hammer was just a normal Tuesday. Number 5, it helped launch real stars. It's not often that a green slime-covered Canadian sketch show accidentally becomes a training ground for a future rock star and a guy who made physics jokes popular. But You Can't Do That on Television was not just chaos. It was chaos with a surprisingly impressive group of former cast members. Let's start with Alanis. Yes, that Alanis.
Don't look at me like that. All I said was these things in church.
Before Jagged Little Pill, before irony, before becoming the symbol of 90s female anger, she was just a kid with big hair and even bigger braces, who joined the cast in 1986. She only showed up in a few episodes, but apparently getting slimed in Ottawa was perfect practice for taking over the music world. Then there's Bill Brady.
Not a cast member, but part of the writing team who helped make those famous sketches. Fast forward a few decades, and he's co-creating The Big Bang Theory, turning science nerds into sitcom gold. Before he was writing jokes about theoretical physics, he was writing gags about kids getting dunked in mystery liquids. The progression makes total sense if you think about it. So while most viewers watched for pies in the face and clueless adults, they were secretly watching a low-key star factory. Turns out getting covered in slime was just really good career practice. All right, folks, before we go into our final 5 facts that will make you question everything about your childhood, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And hey, if you ever find yourself saying, I don't know, after this video, maybe look up first. Just saying. Now, back to more slimy facts, like number 6. It was proudly against education. While Sesame Street was teaching you the alphabet and Mr. Rogers was teaching you about feelings, You Can't Do That on Television was teaching you absolutely nothing.
3, 4, 5.
It was really proud of being educationally empty. By the way, Roger Price made this very clear. This was not just a non-educational show. It was aggressively anti-educational, a full-on rebellion against wholesome messages, after-school specials, and anything that even smelled like a life lesson. His philosophy was, kids spent all day learning stuff. They deserve 30 minutes of pure, unfiltered nonsense. Christine McLeod explained it years later. Quote, if the kids took over the studio, all these fun, silly, hilarious things could happen, end quote. And that is exactly how the show worked. Like kids had taken over, locked the adults out of the control room, and started making sketches about detention, avoiding homework, and the universal terror of gym class. There were no moral lessons, no vocabulary building, no very special episodes about stranger danger, just pure chaos made to give kids a sense of control and a weekly reminder that authority figures, especially the ones played by Les Ly and ever more ridiculous wigs, are totally absurd.
Do you believe that on Halloween night, ghosts and demons roam the streets?
Oh, no, of course.
The result was a generation of viewers who learned exactly one thing: how to never say "I don't know" near any ceiling that looked even a little suspicious. Number 7. It was basically the birthplace of gross-out humor. Before Ren and Stimpy smeared boogers all over Saturday mornings and SpongeBob made toilet jokes a cultural thing, You Can't Do That on Television was already leading the way in making kids laugh at disgusting stuff. This show didn't just try gross-out comedy, it cannonballed into a septic tank of it. Burp contests, barf jokes, fake vomit props, and more strange fluids than a CSI crime scene. It was gloriously disgusting, and kids loved it like cafeteria mystery meat.
Coffee!
Oh, Bart, I'll have a coffee too.
Yeah.
No, don't pour it in my cup. Pour it in front of my pants.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Go, Barbie, go! Oh!
Now I can go home with a big wet stain just like Ted.
John Kricfalusi, creator of Ren and Stimpy, basically admitted they owed their whole style to You Can't Do That on Television. Quote, if it hadn't been for You Can't Do That on Television, we wouldn't have been able to do our thing, end quote. Translation, this Canadian sketch show wrote the guide for making bodily functions primetime entertainment. While parents were diving for the remote and questioning their life choices, the show went even further. Every splat, gag, and perfectly placed whoopee cushion was a middle finger to normal kids programming. This wasn't just gross for shock value, it was rebellion with a laugh track. You Can't Do That on Television made gross-out humor Nickelodeon's signature move for the next 30 years. And it all started with one dungeon set, a few brave kids, and a prop department that definitely deserved hazard pay.
Number 8. Getting slimed. Well, that was a big paycheck. Most child actors get paid for memorizing lines. On You Can't Do That on Television, you got paid for getting covered in mystery goo. And we're not talking pocket change. If a kid got soaked with water after accidentally saying wet or water, that was an extra $75 in their allowance account.
Scream 25 cents.
That's not bad. Oh, that 5 cents, okay. Great.
But if they got the full slime treatment, the nose clogging, possibly expired, definitely suspicious green cascade, boom, $150 for a 12-year-old in the 80s, that was enough to buy every arcade game and still have money left for comic books. Think about the math here. Show up on set on Saturday, get drenched in cafeteria sludge, walk home with more cash than a kid with a paper route makes in 2 months. It completely flipped the rules. Slime wasn't punishment, it was profit. Kids weren't trying to avoid the goo, they were going after it, practicing their "I don't know" lines in bathroom mirrors like method actors.
Yes, Jill, we can always count on you to be stupid enough to say water, and then on top... And then on top of that, be stupid enough to say, "I don't know."
Jeffrey Darby later admitted, quote, "We just thought it was a way to reward them for the horror of having that done," end quote. Yeah, we knew it was disgusting, but money makes everything better. That slime may have smelled like Old Ranch dressing mixed with regret, but for those brave enough to take it, it was liquid gold with bonus playground bragging rights. Number 9. One episode got banned in the United States. For a show that often showed kids getting electrocuted, tortured in dungeons, and literally waterboarded with cafeteria mystery liquids, it took something really special to cross the line. You Can't Do That on Television found that line with an episode called Adoption. Sounds innocent enough, right? Well, it wasn't. When this 8th season episode aired in the US, Nickelodeon's phones lit up faster than a slime bucket could drop. The jokes, meant to be edgy playground humor, hit like a concrete balloon with actual adoptees and their families. Turns out, making fun of adoption trauma between fart jokes and pie throwing was not the comedic gold they had hoped for.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yes, Andrew?
Would you like it if your parents adopted an orphan?
Well, that depends. If the orphan had 4 legs and a cute little tail, then I'd love it. If it had 2 legs, blonde hair, and answer to the name of Doug, I'd hate it.
Producer Jeffrey Darby later admitted, quote, "That was just not being respectful. We didn't know what buttons we were pushing," end quote. If you need the translation, it's, "We tried to make fun of something we knew nothing about, and it blew up in our faces worse than a rigged slime bucket." The episode disappeared faster than a kid avoiding the words, "I don't know." Pulled from syndication, banned from reruns, and removed from box sets, it became real lost media, one of the few pieces of Nickelodeon history you can't find on YouTube with grainy video and weird dubbing. The irony was that a show built on mocking adult sensitivities finally found a topic where the adults were completely right to be sensitive. Even slime-covered Canadian chaos has its limits. Number 10. Nickelodeon's famous slime was a total mold accident. You know that iconic green slime? The one Nickelodeon built its whole corporate identity around for 30 years? The signature goo that started 1,000 game shows and made the orange logo mean getting covered in mystery substances. Yeah, it began as a bucket of moldy cafeteria leftovers. According to Jeffrey Darby, the slime story starts with a simple dungeon sketch. The idea was beautifully gross. A kid pulls a chain, gets doused with sewage. So naturally, they asked the cafeteria staff to collect every leftover scrap from lunch and dump it into one disgusting communal bucket, because subtlety was never "you can't do that on television's" strong point. This is where food safety laws would have freaked out. They ran out of time and couldn't film the scene. Since child labor laws actually mattered, the crew just left the bucket backstage for a whole week in a warm studio during summer.
How do they make that slime they're always dumping on you?
Oh, well, first they take some liquid, and then they add some Jell-O powder and some flour, sometimes some soap, and they dump it all over me.
Where do they dump it from?
Actually, Vanessa, I've always wondered that too. I just don't know.
When they came back, the slime had evolved. A thick, bubbly, biologically active layer of green mold had taken over the surface like some kind of cafeteria ecosystem. The prop guy looked at it, gagged, and probably questioned his career choices. Darby looked at it, paused for exactly 3 seconds, and made television history. Dump it on the kid anyway. That rotting, forgotten bucket started a sliming empire. Game shows, award shows, merchandise, and about 47 metric tons of future fake goo. All because someone was too lazy to clean up after lunch. The lesson is that sometimes the most famous moments in television history come from pure accidents and really bad hygiene. And there you have it, 10 weird and gloriously gross facts about the show that slimed its way into TV history. Which one made you laugh, gag, or question your childhood? Share your favorite moment or the one that still haunts you in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more retro TV deep dives,
And if you ever hear someone say, "I don't know," maybe take a step back just in case.